Good morning, Fond du Lac.
Good morning, Fond du Lac. How you doing? Welcome to the show, the only show that celebrates you and your culture. My name's Maddie, and here's what's happening this weekend. Bull riding and horse barrel racing kicked off the fair Tuesday night. The 174th Fond du Lac County Fair unofficially opened Tuesday night with bull racing and horse barrel racing event at the grandstands. The event kicked off at about 6:30 and featured riders from the Rice Bull Riding Company, which was founded in 1997 and has grown to be one of the largest in the Midwest. Attendees not only had an entertaining night of thrilling bull rides and horse riding, but comedic banters from the company's very own rodeo clown, as well as spectator events. Tickets were only about $17 for adults, $6 for kids, and free for anyone that wanted to sneak in. Unfortunately, not everything was so grand at the grandstand, as this comes from the Fond du Lac PD site, Fighting the Grandstands at the Rodeo. Rob Grutzmacher says, "Is it a family feud?" Dwayne Kaufman says, "Hug it out, boys," with a picture of Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger from Brokeback Mountain. Lance Grossman is wondering if they even served beer tonight. I'm like, yeah, it's the fair. You can get a lot of other things besides beer. They have wine. You can spend $10 for a cocktail. You can even sneak your own in. Penny Jean Coke says, "Yee-haw," while Steve Weiss says, "Shithole Fond du Lac." Well, that's not very nice. He says, "Not to be rude, Fondy is actually a nice place. Try different cities. Nowhere is perfect anymore." Thank you, Cindy Farver. That's the kind of appeasement that we are really in need of in this town. And finally, Luke L. Zach says, "Fighting over Busch Lights and Topo Chicos?" Up next, Wisconsin State Fair looks to be voted the best in the nation. Well, the Fond du Lac County Fair is still in full swings. Organizers of the Wisconsin State Fair are asking for your attention for a short period. They're asking everyone to go and vote in the USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards, as the Wisconsin State Fair has made it to the finalists in the competition. Neat! The Wisconsin State Fair draws more than 1 million attendees annually and is among the most attended state fairs in the country. Now, I don't know about you, but anywhere that I can slide down a pig's anus, that's the place to be. With polls now open, the fans of the Wisconsin State Fair are being asked to vote early and vote often. I haven't been to the state fair since I was in high school, but yeah, I don't. What's there to do? Like, you get a cream puff, you get some cheese curds, you clog your arteries a little bit. I've always heard such horror stories about the cream puffs, you know? But there's nowhere else in the state to get a pâté choux served with sweet cream. So either put up with the cockroaches or go home. The Wisconsin industry is fighting back against the vape/e-cigarette ban. Businesses from around Wisconsin, including some from right here in Fond du Lac, are part of a federal lawsuit filed to stop Wisconsin's vaping ban. Wisconsinites for Alternative to Smoking and Tobacco, Inc., also known as Wisco Fast, that's cute, joined by thousands of Wisconsin businesses and consumers, filed a lawsuit last week in the United States District Court for Western District of Wisconsin to block a Wisconsin statute which is a statewide ban on vaping. This law directs the Wisconsin Departments of Revenue to impose fines on manufacturers and sellers of e-cigarettes and vape products that lack U.S. Food and Drug Administration's marketing authorization. Zach Rosenboom, owner and operator of the Supply Plus store in Fond du Lac, which has a heavy inventory of e-cigarette and vape products, spoke with KFIZ about the lawsuit. He says the FDA hasn't approved any of the independent vapor products to date, and that only products approved are from large tobacco companies. So here in Wisconsin, we're fighting the ban, as most of the industry is made up of independent retailers, and this state law would eliminate almost all of the options on the market. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I tend to get my vapes from shady dealers and, just people on the street. They open up their trench coat and they say, "Hey kid, come over here. You wanna buy something?" And then it's like they open their trench coat and it's watches and fake jewelry and vapes. And those are the ones that are the best kind. And if this ban goes through, you're putting small, independent, street corner businessmen out of work. Rosenboom goes on to say that this law is going to drive the local consumers of vape products back to cigarettes. Oh no! Because giant corporations like cigarette companies are lobbied behind the law, Rosenboom says the whole purpose of passing this law was to get people back to smoking cigarettes. Let's be honest. A lot of those cigarette brands look cool. And you look a lot cooler smoking cigarettes than you do smoking vapes. Wiscofast is suing on constitutional grounds, alleging that the state is superseding the FDA's regulation by putting the requirement in place. Wiscofast has filed a preliminary injunction to get a hold put on the new rules. But Rosenboom says if the injunction doesn't go through by September 1st, the Supplies Plus store in other states like it would have to remove all products from their shelves. Now here's what I'm going for, right? This is July 18th. How about a little sale? Let's be a little proactive on getting your money back. You got a little less than 2 weeks. Vape sale. I don't know. Maybe just a thought. Now, it's time for a very special segment of the show. WLA's Ethan Cole drafted by the Rockies. Fond du Lac native and 2022 Winnebago Lutheran Academy graduate, Ethan Cole was drafted in the 20th round, 587th overall by the Colorado Rockies in Monday night's Major League Baseball draft. Cole, who is spending his second summer with the Fond du Lac Dockspiders, is living a dream. But that's baseball, so who cares? Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods. Alright, guys, I know we just got done with some rain. Feels really good. You think it might be over? Just watch out. Because Friday, it's going to be pleasant with plenty of sunshine. High of 74, low of 62. Not going to be too windy. It's going to be a pleasant day. You know, you're off work. You deserve it. Go have a beer on the patio. Saturday, this is where it's going to get you. Cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Should clear up around the evening, but it's not a good fair day, without having it get shut down because it's fucking wet outside. It happens every year. Either that or it's so goddamn hot that nobody can stand to be outside. But hey, it's Wisconsin. If you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. It'll change. High of 77, low of 61. Sunday, high of 78, low of 59. Partly sunny, pleasant, and less humid. Real feel of about 89. In the shade, 77. Max UV index is very high, so wear some sunscreen. Nobody's gonna laugh when you're looking like George Hamilton. When you're that tan, everyone's laughing at you behind your back. You may not want to hear that, but why you so tan, bro? Starting off the week, Monday, pleasant, sun and areas of high clouds in the morning, then mostly sunny in the afternoon. High of 78, low of 65. Same old shit, first teacher's regime, but don't do that on Tuesday. Watch for strong morning thunderstorms. I'm talking fucking beefcake thunderstorms, right? Mostly cloudy and humid. High of 78, low of 69. Nice. Real feel 87. In the shade 83. Wednesday, watch for another strong morning thunderstorm. Partly sunny and humid. Thursday, sunny 83. And then that's it for the weather. I guess that takes us to Friday. I can't really see more than that because I'm not a weather reader. Now, this is something that's very important in the community. New Fond du Lac County Sheriff's Office Command Center vehicle to be debuted at the county fair. This is a big fucking truck. The Fond du Lac County Sheriff's Office has announced the arrival of a new mobile command and communication center, which will replace the previous vehicle that has been in use for the last 36 years. While the previous command center served its purpose, the Sheriff's Office points out it was put into service at a time before the internet and cell phones were even used, so the upgrade was in order. Built by LDV Inc. in Burlington, Wisconsin, this command center serves as a command center where law enforcement, fire, and EMS commanders gather to plan, mitigate, and resolve critical incidents that occur through our county. Incidents this vehicle responds to include SWAT and tactical situations, water rescues, missing person searches, natural disasters, significant fire scenes, major crime / crash scenes, and any other critical incident where a significant number of emergency personnel respond for an extended period of time. Damn, that is a truck that can do everything, right? I think when a van is fancy and has captain chairs and a wizard spray painted on the side shooting cool fucking lightning bolts, that's really cool, But this one, this mobile, war room, really. This command post also has the ability to be a secondary dispatch and communication center in the event of a primary communications center needs to be shut down or evacuated in an emergency. Now, ain't that about a bitch, right? Usually if your workplace, the power goes out, you get to go home. Not our finest. They get to go work in the van. The public can get a first-hand look at the new vehicle at this year's Fond du Lac County Fair starting Wednesday. This vehicle will be parked on the north side of the expo building, and don't you fucking think about keying it. Don't you fucking... This is what people have to say about it. Alexander Schilling says, it's good to see that the sheriffs are getting their own food truck. Sharon Cons Garrison says, just look where DEI and CRT got us. Mission is still not as complete. More to come. I don't know what that means. Chucky Barta says, my tax dollars hard at work while tires are being popped all over the city. At least let us choose the color. To which Logan Daw says, tell me about all these bad roads in Fond du Lac popping tires. My guy, have you ever visited Aldi's? You walk through, it feels like your car is a Mars rover, just trying its best. Hope you brought your quarter. Rick Beekman says, need that not, this isn't Chicago yet. No punctuation. I think he said, need that, comma, not, like what people used to say, like in the 90s, or like in Borat, that movie Borat. This isn't Chicago yet, which is fine, you know. I don't think anyone read the article. Because if they, you know, the last command center, it made it sound like it was like a horse-drawn carriage with a horse and buggy. This one has Wi-Fi. Suhin McManus says, nice! Which, that's what I'm saying. Kara Casey says, more toys for the boys. I too would like a list of the sheriff's office equipment and the cost. Well, Kara Casey, you're just going to have to get a job with the police, all right? And then be their accountant. And then you're going to have to take inventory. And let me tell you, that shit's not fun because every bullet needs to be accounted for. Every pen, I bet. I'm sure there's maybe like loose leaf paper that you're going to have to count. So be careful for what you wish for. All right? Be grateful that you're not counting everything. Things that are going on in our community, brought to you by the Fond du Lac News, Doings, and Happenings. Becky Lavery Berg is really interested, and she's intrigued. She says, I heard Sunset has a new menu. True? Not true? If you have tried it, how was it? Pat Middlebrandt says, why don't you call him and ask? See how this goes. Got a couple of likes, a couple of angry. He says, you're welcome. God, what a dickhead. Just real dickhead behavior. You know, a lot of people in Wisconsin think Fond du Lac, do they just fucking hate everybody? I like to say, like, oh, we're a community of porcupines, but that doesn't help. That doesn't make it cute. So, Pat, knock it off. Right now. Tracy Mathweg says she's headed there shortly. She'll try to remember to check it out. Yeah, a lot of people are just really saying they went and they didn't look at the menu. June Barr says Schmitty's has a new menu, but she wants the old one back. That's what I'm saying, man. Fucking Fond du Lac does not like change. So does John Zorn. Schmitty's changed the menu, and I'm thinking we will not return for Friday or Saturday evening. Keep in mind that their profile picture looks like a wedding that was held in the 70s. So take that for what you will. You know, just a bunch of old crotcheties being old crotcheties. Amy Elizabeth is wondering, any ideas on how to draw more foot traffic to my little free library? I'm so excited about it, but our street isn't super busy, so we don't get much in the way of walkers or people seeing it. I'm located on Ann Street in North Fond du Lac for reference. Well, Amy, that's your problem. Nobody in North Fond du Lac is interested or knows how to read. When I first moved here, I thought that North Fond du Lac was the rich suburb of Fond du Lac that didn't want anything to do with the actual city. But then I drove through, and I was sorely mistaken. Ian Arthur wants you to be in a music video. Hey everyone, my pop-punk band Story Drive is filming a music video right here in Fond du Lac on Saturday, July 26th. And we're looking for volunteers to be part of the live crowd. We're seeking energetic folks ages 18 to 45 to be in the video. watching the band perform. Filming will take place from 11:45 in the morning to 2 p.m. We can't publicly share the location just yet, but trust me, it's a super cool spot that a lot of locals will recognize. If you're interested and available, drop a comment or shoot me a DM, and I'll send you one in the details. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you there. Well, Ian, you will definitely see me there. If you want to hear more from Ian, he actually did a spot on the other podcast that talks about nerd culture that I do called Mini Boss. Go check that out, should you have the inclination or the time. Julianne Wilson says, Friday night dance lesson and social. $10. Lesson at 7 p.m. Open dancing follows. This week, we will learn nightclub. 7 Sheboygan Street, Fond du Lac. I can't wait to dance nightclub. I can't wait to put on my dancing shoes, put on my tight little go-go pants, go get my $10, and then learn to dance nightclub. If it's anything like the raves I went to when I was younger, hopefully there's not weird people with light up gloves just waving them in front of people's faces when they're in K-holes. So, ooh, this was a big one. So right now we're going through a bout of construction on Main Street, and some people just aren't happy about it. This is from Sandra Ritchie, who owns the diner. Closed Tuesday, July 15th. She says, questions? Feel free to call the City of Fond du Lac Water Department or ask Baumhart's construction crew. She says, seems a 24-hour notice of closure is way too much to ask for. I'm livid. I'm beyond livid. Must be nice to just walk into a small business and say, hey, you're closed tomorrow. And they're not doing a damn thing I can do. I'm sure my Tuesday regulars will understand. 100% sarcasm. Thanks for putting that, because who would have known? It's hard to get forth sarcasm in text. So thank you for putting that. I'm sure all my customers have social media. Thus, they won't have to walk a block just to find out I had to close. And again, she says, more sarcasm. So I'm sure there was absolutely no way humanly possible for the construction crew to start work at, say, noon and work, God forbid, until 6 p.m. I have taken one extra day off this year. Why? Because I can't afford it. Do not let anyone tell you these guys/gals care about the businesses. They do not. So, if you're in the mood for some late night onion rings or early morning $7 breakfast, please go to the diner. Help Sandra recoup some of those costs. Now let's see what's going on this weekend. Let's see. Auditions for Chicago, a musical vaudeville, for the Shore Club in Wisconsin. So if you feel like driving to Plymouth every night to give your life away to go sing the Razzmatazz, go check that out. Build your own Bloody Mary bar every Saturday and Sunday morning at 18 Hands. The first time I ever had a Bloody Mary, it was at a Bloody Mary bar. I was 21 and didn't know how to drink just yet. So I thought I had just hated Bloody Marys because I would just pour a shit ton of vodka in a cup and just add like a little tomato juice and like a fuck ton of hot sauce. And like, this fucking sucks. But then I came back to Wisconsin. I was, in San Diego when I was that young. I came back to Wisconsin, had one made for me. Blew my mind. Blew my mind for sure. I'm glad that they're cutting out the labor cost. Hopefully it makes the drink cheaper. But go get you a delicious Bloody after you go visit the farmer's market. Go buy some fucking cookies from my friend Jillian. They're delicious. They're fucking great. This Saturday at the Ledge Rock Distillery, Beats Booze and Barbecue Contest. Fundraiser for Eden First Responders. Now, let me tell you, all of my favorite things start with the letter B. Beers, babes, booze, beats, barbecues, marijuana, all of it. So make sure to check that out. Of course, all weekend long, there's face painting at the Fond du Lac County Fair. It doesn't have to be anything cute. You can get something cool, like maybe like a skull, or maybe let people know how many people you killed in prison with some teardrops under your eyes, or maybe, throw the ICE agents off, get an MS-13 gang tattoo on your forehead, and then hilarity ensues. And of course, as always, Bret Michaels is playing the Fond du Lac County Fair tonight. So if you have $60 and a hankering to go see a washed up rock star who I think wears a wig under that cowboy hat, feel free. Otherwise, you can stay home, get drunk, and watch Rock of Love on YouTube for free. They got them all. And you would not believe the shit that they were able to get away with. But folks, that's it for me. Go out, make this day your bitch, and I'll see you next week. Bye!